say, wow, that's cool. So that really is one way of showing the before and after effect. I mean, what I thought was really fantastic at Drupa, we have people walk up, we use a digital camera to take a picture that somebody that walked in, and then within 4 minutes, we had that printed in gold foil, and we would give it to the individual.
I got one. I got two, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, great. They're great.
Oh my God, it was the coolest thing ever.
And they're lovely. You hang them on the wall, and all of a sudden you realize you have just been digitalized and printed and turned around in 4 minutes.
Scodified, we call it.
Scodified, yeah. And so the beauty is you show the before and after, you show the effects that the technology has, and now all of a sudden everything you do with digital becomes absolutely beautiful because it just stands out, and that's what we love about it. It is really a unique engagement for people with the printed matter, and that's what we've all been looking for.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll come back to you. What finishing trends are you seeing in the markets that you serve?
Easily our number one trend right now is people upgrading their paper cutter to a larger dimension, especially if we classify them as a commercial digital printer. 26-inch sheet length is going to certainly become more popular over the next couple of years, and it allows people 3-up, 8.5, 11, and it's just that's our number one trend for sure. That we sell a 26.4 and a 31.5-inch cutter that are now becoming the norm in a commercial digital shop, where previously 12/18 was the dominant sheet size. It's also, speaking in that vein, we're seeing the first 45-inch hydraulic paper cutters. You all familiar with a 45-inch large guillotine to support a press? That's a gear-driven machine that weighs, 12 or 13,000 pounds, and we're now seeing machines designed for single shift in a much larger format and a lower price point.
Thanks. HP, as far as your products go, again, this is a finishing panel, so it's a little weird, but what are the trends that you're seeing as far as the products that your latex printers can create? And also make sure you keep the microphone up.
Keep the microphone up. Well, there is actually 3 key finishing developments. One would be silicon edge graphics, which works quite well with a latex, and we've partnered up with several companies to do that, and you'll see that more and more. Another one is using heat fixation devices to give us improved crocking, both dry and wet. That is something, especially with natural fibers, where we're looking at digital decor market for cottons, linens, cotton linen blends, jute, hemp, all that stuff. Giving it a little extra fixation with a heat fixation, roughly 350 degrees. It seems to get us over a certain point and gives us better scratch and scuff resistance, also better overall durability. Increasingly, we're working with print and cut partners like GravTech to do very integrated print and cut processes, so you can create decals that are kiss cut and perf cut and all punched out, and then have the software, particularly using either Onyx, Caldera, or Flexi, to integrate seamlessly with our cutting partners, and GravTech is one of our primary cutting partners.
Thanks so much. CP Borg, what are the trends that you're seeing in the markets that you serve, and could you also keep your mic up?
Sure.
Perfect.
So the entire industry is faced with one challenge, and we've tirelessly looked at it for the last 4 years, and it's do more with less. Less space, less people, less units to order. It's do more with less across the entire platform. So we have been engineering for zero waste products in the bindery and finishing, which is just unheard of. The bindery and finishing area was all about overages. Oh, great. We put it to bindery, and bindery can, we could waste what we wanted to, not any longer. When it's personalized variable, not at all. Technologies that we've really pioneered that have made huge impacts in the last 3 years are sheet feeding technologies. The ability to have an inline finisher marked docked to a marking engine, but also to be able to use that exact finisher in an offline capacity, or what we call dual mode functionality. It's massive automation, but more importantly, asset utilization, return on investment strategies go through the roof, and yet we're still looking at that do more with less answer. Less people, less space, and less units to order.
Thanks so much. Skodex.
We see a proliferation of SKUs, really, in pretty much every segment you look at. It doesn't really matter. And at the same time, nobody wants to hold inventory, logically, because we don't want to waste the paper or any material that you print on. So yes, the number of SKUs has gone up tremendously. That is immaterial of the segment. Packaging is starting to see that much more. In commercial, you've seen it for a while now, probably for the last 10, 15 years, getting faster as we speak. So that's one of the key trends that we see. And being able to digitally not only print but enhance every product that you do will help you in that process and make every product unique. So I see that as one of the key drivers.
Thanks so much. Michaels from Sydney Stone. What finishing advances will be made or will be needed in the next 5 years? And then after you finish, if you could let people know where you are on the show and the people at home how they can get in touch with your company.
Sure. For the next 5 years. Whoa.
Well, there are people here looking at technologies. There are people here thinking about where their business has to be in the next 5 years, and you're going to help them.
Certainly the level of automation in the finishing equipment, we're getting there, but that's certainly something that's going to be important, and we're starting to see things like instruction manuals available right on the user interface, and videos being able to be viewed about the equipment. It really is becoming very intuitive to run, but I think there needs to be more effort done to allow the users on the floor to be able to help themselves work through various finishing scenarios as they're in production. As far as that, I think some miniaturization of some of the larger equipment is definitely going to be a trend that is going to be required. Some of our lamination machines need to be used in a much smaller environment and do more things. So things of that nature. You can certainly contact us at www.printfinishing.com. We are Canada-wide, and we're also an importer of equipment for EBA, Morgana, Duplo, and so forth, right across the country. We're also available toll-free, 800-668-6055. We'll
Awesome.
always take your call.
Thank you so much. HP, what finishing advances will be needed in the next 5 years?
We are an ink innovation company, and we are a printhead innovation company. When we invent new inks and we invent new printheads, it allows us to develop entirely new applications. Those new applications are going to need new finishing technologies. I have seen a glimpse. We are an R&D company. We spend millions and millions of dollars on research and development. It's one of the things we do well. We have a huge R&D budget for latex. Latex is a tremendously important technology to the HP brand. And with that innovation is going to be a whole host of new products. So anticipate us being at all the shows with new products every time. Every single new product has all new finishing capabilities. We're going to have new partnerships, new relationships, because we're going to be in new markets.
And people can get in touch. HP Go Latex, is
Yes.
that what it is today?
Yes.
hp.com/go/latex, right?
Right. And we're the big blue awning over there.
That big
big
blue
blue awning
logo.
with the big
Yes.
white logo.
Thank you so much.
My
CP
pleasure.
Borg, what finishing advances will be made or will be needed in the next 5 years? How can people get in touch with you?
So I think really the answer to that question and what's keeping us up at night is watching this massive paradigm shift within our industry. The largest that we've seen since hot lead type going out and lithography coming in is the outpouring or the exodus from traditional offset to inkjet, and we think that cut sheet inkjet is going to be phenomenal. We're proud to be on both cut sheet inkjets that have been introduced today into the industry, but obviously looking at completely the industry and the transfer of that volume to inkjet is going to be extremely interesting. So we're watching that closely for the next 3 years. 5 years is a long time in this industry right now, so it's hard to predict 5 years, but certainly, again, us deploying on cut sheet inkjet, we think is a massive paradigm shift within the industry. We are front and center in the hall, and certainly tune into our YouTube channel at cpborggroup.com on YouTube or cpborg.com.
I just want to ask you a secondary question. Is there different equipment needed for finishing, or is it that the inkjets go so fast that the finishing can't be in line?
So the biggest challenge for finishing on inkjet that we're finding out is actually watching the media list grow as we're transitioning again from traditional offset and lithography. It's forced us to design and implement new technologies within our folding sections as you would for our booklet makers. Being able to actually take that wet substrate and process it without marking, scuffing, tracking, or certainly offsetting throughout that substrate. So it has forced us to redefine a few things, but again, giving a lower cost technology the same advantages that we have in lithography today, and again, opening that substrate list up has been a true engineering challenge that proudly we've accomplished.
Thank you so much. Skodex.
Where do we go? And in 5 years, that's a good question. I think first thing that I would say is that we see the trend in offset, where everything is pretty much a commodity, will sooner or later apply in digital printing just the same. So therefore, there is a lot more focus on the finishing side, because that's where printers will be able to make the money, or will have to make the money. Now at Skodex, we look at ourselves a bit more like a chemical company. Not so much as a heavy equipment type manufacturing company, but a chemical company. I mentioned earlier that at Drupa we had 9 applications. They were all centered around several different polymers, because that's the philosophy that the company follows. And these polymers will be extended further into new uses. There could be taste, there could be smell, there could be light receptiveness to certain frequencies. There are lots of different opportunities where we can take these polymers, all with a view to offer something to a printer, for example, a brand, protection for their brand. That's a big keyword for many brands right now. So in terms of projection for Skodex to go forward, I think you will see further and new polymers that will address new areas that the company will want to go into.
And Skodex.com.
Skodex.com, and we're here in in this hall, 5528 is the booth. We've got lots of samples, so come over, have a look. Very amazing ones there as well. And you find Skodex worldwide.
Yes, and as they say at the Skodex booth, touching is believing, and you really do have to touch it to understand what it is. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Audience, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. We have the Girls Who Print International Mentors panel coming up next. You guys are staying for that, I'm assuming, yes? Okay, so thank you so much. Thanks everyone watching at home, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you, guys. That was awesome. I just learned so much from you.